Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone or when you're watching this. This is the second part of my videos about driving in the USA. And I'll start with roundabouts, also known in the States as traffic circles. They're a fairly new thing to Americans, so a lot of Americans aren't quite sure how to deal with them. Obviously, back in the old country, everybody knows you come to a roundabout, you look for a gap, you get onto the roundabout and leave at your convenience. Uh, Americans aren't always sure. I had an interesting experience when I lived down in Miami where a four-way junction had been transmuted into a mini roundabout. Now, I got onto this roundabout and then I found that many drivers just would breeze straight across them like they were a four-way junction but with no stop signs. That's the other thing about junctions and four-way junctions or crossroads, is usually there's a stop sign at the entrance to each, and the rules are that he or she who arrives first goes first, the second person goes second, third, the next, etc., etc. So there are kind of rules about that. Sometimes they are adhered to, depending on where you are. Most of the time, especially where I am at the moment, people seem to actually take note of that, but can't be too sure when you're down in the south, in the wondrous city of Miami. The other thing about junctions generally is there are preponderance of stop signs. So you come to a junction and where you might see a give way sign, which in the UK, which they call them yield signs, you'd actually have a stop sign. So you stop, look every way and then move on. And it's always a good idea, even if there's nobody there, to actually stop rather than use your judgment, because I can remember back in Miami where I rolled over a stop sign and of course there had to be a motorcycle cop behind me who said, "You can't do that." Also, he didn't actually give me a citation for rolling over the stop sign. He said, "License and registration, please." Now, of course, being a Brit, I hadn't bothered to put my license and registration and documents in the car. In the UK, you don't need it. So I was habitualised to not carry ID with me or insurance details, etc. So because for those who don't know about it, the system in the UK, they give you what, if you're stopped by the cops, you're supposed to have your documents with you, but it's no big deal. They won't cite you for it. They'll give you a producer, and as the name suggests, the producer just means you've got to produce your documents within a reasonable period of time. I think it's 7 days, but don't quote me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. To a local cop shop, and then everything's good. So that's something to take note of. So don't ignore the stop signs. Just because there's no traffic there, you still might get pulled over. So it happened to me. So the other thing is disappearing lanes. A lot of traffic engineers don't seem to be that great, especially down in the south. So you will be driving along and you might find that you're driving along, you think, well, I just think I don't want to get involved with the rough and tumble of lane changing and that kind of stuff. What I'll do is I'll just stay in the right hand lane and I'll be good. Well, you might not be good because that lane might decide to disappear on you, which means you've then got to get back into the hurly-burly of the regular lanes. So that's something to take note of, and you kind of only find that out once you've moved to an area, and you then try and remember that there are certain lanes that will disappear on you. The other thing is the test. The test is the driving test. Now, in the UK, I had a stick shift car, and one of the things I had to do was reverse uphill round a corner, which I found quite difficult at the time. I think I'd find it damn near impossible now. It wasn't as difficult getting my license in the States. I was down in the Florida Keys, and all I had to do was drive around a Publix parking lot, which is a supermarket, leave the parking lot, do a 3-point turn and an emergency stop, go back and park. And when I said to the instructor, where do you want me to park? He said, anywhere you like. So I just pulled into the nearest bay, and that was it, done. On top of that, there is an eyesight test, and there also is a short test on the rules of the road, signs, etc. But that's not really a very difficult thing to do. So I don't think I've got much more to say about driving in the US, apart from what I've done in my previous episode. So for now, goodbye.